Hello, David Barron here, also known as Dentalian Jones. That's my pen name in some places. Welcome, fellow Dentalianites. I wanted to sort of open up this live hypnosis Q&A to talk specifically about a question that was asked me and my thoughts on the difference between trance and hypnosis. Now, this is a good concept to understand, but I think what you really need to understand is what you're trying to do is to affect change in somebody. So whether or not you really understand the difference between trance and hypnosis isn't as important as being able to get a really positive result. Always keep that in mind. So don't go worrying about whether you're a good hypnotist because you haven't defined trance and hypnosis appropriately. I want to give you first the definition of trance and hypnosis that my mentor uses. And also, please keep in mind that trance and hypnosis are often used interchangeably, and there are lots of people who do not have the same understandings about these two distinctions. So my mentor, Jeff Stevens, he says quite clearly that trance, first of all, is a state in which you are consciously associated into. What that means is you are aware that you're in this state. However, you may not be subconsciously deeply associated into it. What that means is that trance is something that you can generate, you can experience it, and you can have within this trance a very positive change. However, because trance is transient, as soon as your state changes out of this particular trance state, the change that you want may also disappear. So think of it in terms of affirmations. You are focusing on something very intentionally. You're repeating it again and again and again, and you're building up a feeling. This feeling is a state. It is a trance, and this trance has a very positive effect. Maybe it's to build confidence, maybe it's to put yourself at ease, but as long as you're focusing on it, as long as you are in this trance, you have the result. But let's say you get distracted, someone cuts you off, or you get in an argument with somebody. What's going to happen then is you're going to lose that trance state. And that effect, that confidence, whatever it is you're looking to achieve, will also likely dissipate. Now, still, trance is very useful, just like affirmations are very useful. And so you can repeatedly sort of hone in this trance state, practicing it until it becomes very deeply ingrained. But keep in mind, it is a very strong, a very long conscious process of building it. It doesn't happen instantly or automatically, and you have to work at it. Now, that is trance. Hypnosis is different. Hypnosis and trance very much overlap, but hypnosis is, and again, I'm using my mentor's definition of hypnosis. Hypnosis is something that has to happen from a hypnotist. It has to be induced. It is not something that you can willfully go into, even though people will say they use self-hypnosis. What they're doing is a type of self-trance. Again, this is my mentor's definition. Hypnosis is a state in which there is no conscious objection. You may be aware of what's going on in hypnosis, but everything that happens in hypnosis happens and is experienced by the subconscious mind. So the subconscious mind is going to experience this instruction and make the change. And you may be aware of the state, you may be aware of what's going on, but there is no conscious obstacle to making this change. So let's go a little further here. I said that hypnosis is not something that you can induce on your own. You can induce a trance state, but as soon as you go from trance into hypnosis, there's no one there to drive the bus. You can't be, and again, according to the definition of Jeff Stevens, my mentor, you cannot go yourself into hypnosis and still have any control of what's going on, because everything in hypnosis happens at the subconscious level. So you yourself, it's going to be very difficult to make that change. I think it's possible to do it, but it's a huge skill set and takes a lot of experience. It is not as simple as simply saying I do self-hypnosis all the time. So now hypnosis, I mean, I've sort of have been wrestling I've sort of been wrestling with this definition between trance and hypnosis myself. Hypnosis is often described not just as a state in which you experience, but it's described as a process. And I think they are in fact both accurate. Hypnosis is the process you use to bypass the critical factor, to go completely past any conscious objection, to enter and make a change into the subconscious mind. And the interesting thing about the changes that happen in trance and the changes that happen in hypnosis, they differ, because in trance, when you make a change and you want that change to persist, you have to immediately bring back the trance state to have that change. So you can do really super well, say as a non-smoker, because you're pumping yourself up, and still a craving may come up because you've distracted yourself and you have to go back into that trance state. So that's the change that happens in trance. It's still useful, it can still be very effective. The difference with hypnosis on this hand, is that hypnosis happens at the subconscious level. And that change is so dramatic, it is so effective, it is so part of the subconscious mind that there is no need to think about it at all. It just happens. Great example, the fellow I used to hypnotize to stop chewing tobacco, he just couldn't chew tobacco anymore. He went all the way through the cravings. He knew he was going through withdrawals and he didn't care because he was done with chewing tobacco. So the hypnosis we did not get rid of the cravings. It did not get rid of the withdrawal symptoms, which I thought was interesting, but it got rid of any of his impulse desire to even want to chew tobacco again. That happened instantly. There was no effort on his part whatsoever. And the interesting thing about giving instructions to the subconscious mind is that when you do it, there are several things that have to take place. The first thing is it has to be something that is understandable by the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind does not object to it or accept it, it just does it. And so if you give the instructions that are understandable and you give not just what they're going to do, but how they're going to do it, and then supply the reasons for that, it's just natural that the subconscious mind will make that happen. So again, once you know they are in hypnosis, once you've gone through the complex deepeners and gone maybe through the passing through zero, and you're there talking to the subconscious mind, the part of the hypnosis process called the golden box is very straightforward. You say, subconscious mind, you're in control. You've been having this habit, this pattern for reasons, but you know now things are different. Starting now, this is your new behavior. This is what's going to happen. So I'm describing the change and what is going to happen instead. And then I describe why this is of benefit. And then once I've done that, I get a very simple head nod from the subconscious mind. Nod your head when you understand and accept these instructions. You get a head nod. And that's it. That's essentially all that needs to happen. And the interesting thing is that it does not have to be long. I mean, in one of the discussion groups I'm in here, we talk about the ultra depth, which is really interesting stuff, but it's a very long process, and it gets some really dramatic results. But making a change, using the hypnosis process to enter into hypnosis and to talk directly to the subconscious mind is very fast. When it does happen, it can be very direct. So I am hoping that clears up some questions about the difference between trance and hypnosis. There are some people who, Chase Hughes, someone who I deeply respect as a hypnotist, he will emphasize that hypnosis is just a process, and the state that you are trying to get them into is simply the agentic state. And again, this is something Stanley Milgram developed the concept of the agentic state. It is the point in which you are no longer the agent of your actions, thoughts. It's when you have willingly and with complete agreement given over your process to someone else. Now, this happens in cults, of course. It happens in abusive relationships. It happens in therapeutic relationships. And it also does happen in hypnosis. But I would say that hypnosis differs from cults in that you are making very strong impact on the subconscious mind. There is no conscious objection to what takes place. So this is something we could probably discuss a little bit further. I do hope this clarifies some points. If you have questions about the difference between trance and hypnosis, or if I've made this only more confusing for you, let me know. I would love to address it, and I would love to have your thoughts on it as well. So guys, thank you very much. If you have questions, toss them my way. If there's a like button somewhere underneath here, click it. If you want to share this, please share the video. So guys, thank you very much.